Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. It's that time of the week again, it's Premier League predictions time. Another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters are almost upon us for this upcoming weekend. And of course, this is the video where I talk about the games, analyse them and try to predict how I think each and every single game will pan out this weekend. Before we get into all the talk and the predictions though, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe. If you are new, both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And I also encourage you to get involved with mainly, of course, your own predictions on how you think each and every single game will go this weekend in England's top tier division. But of course, I'd love to know your talk as well. So get your thoughts, get your comments, your opinions, feelings, but most of all, of course, all of your predictions in the comment section down below. I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading, whatever it is that you have to say. And I can't wait to read through them all. Sound good? Fantastic. Let's kick things off then, shall we? Let's kick things off with Saturday's lunchtime encounter that will be coming at you live from the Etihad Stadium, where Manchester City will be taking on Crystal Palace. And as you can see, I've gone with a 1-1 draw for this one. Now, it's not exactly a foregone conclusion, this one. And of course, with Manchester City, you know that they're going to be the favourites. You know they're going to be the ones that are going to be looking to dominate, looking to obviously take their chances, win the game, get 3 points, and of course help their bid to qualify for the Champions League for next season. But it isn't going to be easy against the Crystal Palace side, who we know can be a thorn in the side of any team that they come up against. I've gone 1-1 purely because although City are the favourites, although City have the players on paper to win any game of football, we know that Palace have been in pretty good form in recent games. We know that Palace have been looking pretty sharp. We know that Palace defensively as well, especially away from home, don't concede that many goals. I have a sneaky feeling here, given a lunchtime atmosphere, given Palace are a bit of a bogey side for most big teams, I've got a feeling they can get something from this. So I'm going 1-1. I'm going to say that Mateta continues his good goal scoring form. I'm going to say that Manchester City drop points in another big game, which could have big ramifications for, of course, the race for Champions League. As now we know, of course, 5 Premier League teams, the top 5, will qualify for the top tier club competition in European football. Next up, we're off to the Amex Stadium. We're off to the seaside for the Seagulls against the Foxes. And I've gone with a 3-0 win to Brighton. If this happens this weekend, if obviously Brighton win this weekend, that's it as far as what Leicester are concerned. Not officially. They will still have one more week to at least try to rectify things. But it could be all but over for Leicester. I know the writing's been on the wall for a while. I know it seems inevitable and it's just only a matter of time. But of course we have to play it out until it's mathematically impossible for Leicester to survive the drop. It does seem that the Foxes are going back down to the Championship for next season. And Brighton could give them a bit of a hammering on their way down. Ruud van Nistelrooy's side are in dreadful form. Ruud van Nistelrooy's side are staring down the barrel of relegation, and they're coming up against the Brighton side who are in search of some form of European football for next season. With the bit between their teeth, Brighton should be winning this one and winning it pretty comfortably with the quality that they have and quality that they possess. I have no hope whatsoever for Leicester in this particular game. Next up, we're off to the City Ground in my hometown of Nottingham for welcoming the arrival of Merseyside club Everton. Forest versus Everton, Nuno Espirito Santo versus David Moyes. And I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Everton, since David Moyes' return, have only suffered one defeat. The loss in the Merseyside derby against Liverpool. Last week, they bounced back from that defeat when they drew to Arsenal in somewhat controversial circumstances, but Everton held on for the point, and a good point at that. Of course, Everton are safe and sound. They're just continuing their progression under David Moyes. But for Forest, this will be a good opportunity for them to get 3 more points under their belt, redeem themselves for that defeat that they suffered last weekend against Aston Villa, and of course, maintain a stranglehold on the top 4/top 5 position for Champions League football for next season. as much as it is a good opportunity for them to win, I also have a sneaky feeling that maybe they've got the FA Cup semi-final as well in their sights. I know it isn't for a few weeks yet, but obviously these kind of things can obviously play on the minds of certain players. I also think the squad, maybe just kind of looking at that maybe and may reserve a little bit. Although it is a good opportunity for them to get Champions League football. But of course it's not going to be easy regardless with this Everton side. With how good they can be defensively, how much they can spring forward on the counter-attack. And of course from set pieces, even though Forest are pretty decent at defending set pieces, we know that Everton can be dangerous from them. I'm anticipating a decent game here. One that I see the points being shared with. But don't be surprised if Forest do get the win, considering where they are in the table and considering what they're fighting for in contrast to Everton. Next up. Sorry, I don't know why I pressed that button. Next up, we have got action from St Mary's, where already relegated Southampton are taking on Aston Villa, and I've gone with a 3-1 win to Aston Villa. Now, there are a couple of caveats to this. Number one being that, like I've already mentioned, Southampton are already down. So, what exactly is Southampton's mentality going into this one? Well, the only thing that they can really play for now is to obviously beat the humiliating total that Derby County hold. The record that Derby County hold in terms of their points total for the season being the lowest accumulated total in Premier League history. Southampton are 1 point away from equaling that, 2 points away from beating that. So, of course, that is the only thing that really remains in Southampton's season. Could they potentially do it in this game? Well, nothing's ever a foregone conclusion or an inevitability. But they are coming up against a very well-informed Aston Villa side. Now, regardless of Wednesday's defeat at the hands of PSG in the Champions League, Villa in the Premier League are going strong, and they are in contention to, of course, challenge for Champions League football for next season once again. So, with that kind of incentive behind them, you probably imagine that despite the extra minutes in the legs of those players in midweek, they probably would be able to get past this Southampton side, get 3 points, and of course add insult to injury for the Saints, as well as boost their own chances of obtaining Champions League football once again for next season. It's a good opportunity to do so. I'm backing Villa to do so with the strength and depth that they have. Of course, they may have one eye on the second leg with PSG, but I think maybe, just maybe, they will lean more towards this one than they would that one, with all due respect. We wait and see what happens, but I'm predicting Villa, the favourites, to go on and win. Next up, Saturday's evening encounter will see action from the Emirates Stadium as Arsenal take on Brentford in a game that I see Arsenal winning by 2-1. Now, Arsenal will, of course, have the extra minutes in their legs with the game that, of course, took place midweek. But with that game as well can come an incredible rush of adrenaline, an incredible boost of mentality and confidence with, of course, the way that they absolutely dismantled and put Real Madrid to the sword in midweek's game. They may also take a little bit of encouragement from Liverpool losing last week and them closing the gap to 11 points rather than 12. Of course, it's still a slim chance of them winning the Premier League title this year. And of course, there has to be a monumental collapse from Liverpool, but stranger things have happened. So, the question remains, what is Arsenal's mentality like going into this one? Do they just throw this game and focus mainly on the Champions League? Or do they try and maybe see what Liverpool will do this weekend and how Liverpool fare in the Premier League? Do they still go for it? Do they still maybe do they maybe throw this game? Maybe they rotate a little bit more. I'd love to see what the mindset of Mikel Arteta is going into this one. Brentford are no pushovers. Brentford, it's no easy task. We know that. We know that they've got a dangerous duo up front. We know that they can be strong on their day. We know that they can give any side a good run for their money. And Arsenal, of course, no exception to that. But like I say, with what has happened midweek, with how they are playing, I'm going to give Arsenal the benefit of the doubt on this one. I'm going to give Arsenal the edge. I'm going to say that Arsenal's strength and depth, maybe there is a bit of rotation, but there is obviously an opportunity to get some minutes in the legs of those players to keep the momentum going. I think Arsenal will get the 3 points and put a bit of pressure on Liverpool before they play on Sunday. Next up, Sunday's encounters. First and foremost, we're at Stamford Bridge across London for Chelsea taking on Ipswich. I've gone with a 2-1 win to Chelsea. Now, Ipswich took points off Chelsea earlier on this season. Ipswich actually beat Chelsea this season in what was a bit of a shock result as far as what we were concerned. And it could happen again. It very well could happen again. There could be a double. And if there was going to be big questions asked of Chelsea and of Enzo Maresca. And of course, Chelsea are in Europa Conference League action this week. So of course, that could obviously play a factor in the mindset and the legs, the energy levels of these Chelsea players. But of course, looking at the game, looking at the form of both of them, Ipswich in the relegation battle, they need 3 points. They desperately need 3 points to try and make any sort of case for a late great escape from that relegation zone. It does look inevitable that they will be going down this season as we edge ever closer to the conclusion of this Premier League campaign. But I've got to be honest, I don't see them getting 3 points here. I think Chelsea will have enough about them in the strength of depth area to really punish Ipswich, redeem themselves for the loss that they suffered to the away side earlier on in the campaign, and I think Enzo Maresca's side will come out with the 3 points. It won't be easy by any stretch of the imagination. We know that Ipswich are fighting for everything that they are trying to earn this season, but they just don't have the quality to be able to not just win this game, but stay up, in my personal opinion. 2-1 Chelsea is what I'm going with here. Next up, we have got action from Molineux, action from the West Midlands, where Wolverhampton Wanderers will welcome Tottenham to their stadium. And I've gone with a 2-2 draw. Now again, Tottenham are another team that are going to be playing midweek. They're another team that's going to be playing Europa League football. Where does their mentality lie? Where does this Tottenham side, what's the best way to put this? What is the mindset of this Tottenham side? What is the mindset? Let me just remind you of this. If Wolves win, they will be then joint level on points with both Everton and West Ham. 2 points away from Spurs. Spurs have got Europa League action to contend with. Now, I'm recording this before that Europa League action actually takes place. I'm recording this video before Thursday night's games. So I don't know the result of that Thursday night game. I don't know if Spurs have absolutely got battered. I don't know if Spurs have absolutely battered Frankfurt. I don't know what the situation is going into the second leg. But I can hazard a guess that Tottenham will put all their eggs in the Europa League basket. And that could benefit Wolves to not only beat Spurs here, go 2 points behind them, but to also put more distance between themselves and the drop zone and really put even more pressure on those three that are below them. If I had to pick a winner, I probably would be leaning more towards Wolves. But I just think that maybe, again, momentum, strength and depth, rotation, it could work in Tottenham's favour and they could get a little fortunate again. So I'm going with 2-2. I'm saying that Tottenham get a point from this game, but I'm not entirely confident because, let's face it, it's Spurs. But I would love to see where their mindset is at come Sunday when these two teams clash. Next up, what a game we have in prospect at St James's Park. What a game we have in prospect here. Newcastle against Manchester United. A Newcastle side that are in very good form, going for Champions League football, of course. and coming up against a Manchester United side that are just continuing their progression under Ruben Amorim. There are good signs progressing at Man United, I will admit. There are some signs that, you know, with a bit more work and obviously some backing in the summer, you know, may actually start to sprout something nice going forward. It's not all there yet. There are still things that need to be ironed out, but let's face it, he didn't have a magic wand. He was never going to fix everything and everything that was going on at Manchester United overnight. So, yeah, there are some things there that maybe can be looked at as positively. I think individual errors, though, are probably going to cost United in this game. I think individual errors at both ends of the pitch. I know that United do create a fair few chances, but they also gift opportunities as well. And I think with this Newcastle side, with the midfield that they have, and with this, you know, the strike force that they have, the informed strike force, Harvey Barnes on one side, or Anthony Gordon, or Jacob Murphy, or if Alexander Isak's going to be there, like, they have got a lot going for them, have Newcastle, whether it be defensively, in the midfield, or in the attack. And of course, this is another team that, thanks to obviously the Premier League being gifted 5 Premier League teams for the Champions League next season, will obviously have that extra incentive to make sure that one of those top 5 spots is going to be theirs. I'm going 3-2 to Newcastle. That may be closer than what a lot of people may see. I just think that United may get a little bit more fortunaty in the final third. They may create a few more opportunities. I can see a world in which United get a couple of goals. If Bruno Fernandes is on form, I can definitely see United maybe getting a couple of goals to counter this Newcastle side. But I'm expecting a very, very good game. I'm expecting an exciting game, a lot more exciting than the Manchester derby last week. That was, well, exactly, the bar isn't exactly set high there, but yeah, I'm expecting a lot more of an interesting game, and I'm going for goals galore. So there you have it on that score. And Monday night, we'll see Bournemouth in action taking on Fulham. Bournemouth, of course, fallen off in recent games. Really have fallen off in recent games. Not exactly been at the races have Bournemouth. Maybe the season is catching up to them a little bit. And they're a particularly small squad. And obviously a squad that's been hit with injuries across the campaign. Maybe it is catching up with them finally. Against the Fulham side, who will still be buzzing from that massive win they picked up against the Premier League leaders last week of Liverpool. Massive win for Fulham in that one, of course. It isn't over as far as what their chase for European footballers, and they could obviously have an opportunity to potentially further hurt a rival with a win in this one. So with that being said, I probably would be leaning more towards Fulham in taking the win here, but Bournemouth still a very good squad. Bournemouth still got some very good individual players, and of course Bournemouth, like I say, still may have an incentive to go about their business and win this game. I'm sticking with my first thought, though. I'm going with a draw. I think they'll cancel each other out, but I think this could be a very underrated game for us to view on Monday night. And finally, in what I believe to be the biggest game of this round of fixtures, the main event of this Premier League weekend, we're at Anfield for the Premier League leaders Liverpool taking on West Ham, and a big opportunity for the Reds to take that step closer towards official Premier League glory. They can't obviously wrap up the title this weekend regardless of what happens in the Arsenal game and whether or not they win, but Liverpool could take a big step forward in securing the Premier League title that we all are somewhat anticipating them doing. West Ham, not in the best of form with all due respect, but of course they can't be taken for granted. You saw what happened last week with Fulham. If Liverpool go here and take their eye off the ball, if they think the ball or the league or the game is won without a ball even being kicked, they will slip on this banana skin. West Ham are not to be played with. West Ham are not to be messed with. We saw earlier on in the campaign, they beat Arsenal. So we cannot, should not, and hopefully will not take this game for granted. We will take it with the professionalism that this game deserves. We will take it with more professionalism than we did last week when we lost to Fulham. And hopefully we will put in a decent performance to boot. I'm looking for a good performance here. I'm looking for a win. I'm going 3-1 because I'm hoping that we can get a few goals under our belts just to boost our confidence ahead of the conclusion of the season. And I was hoping for a clean sheet, but let's face it, it's Liverpool's awkward defence and we concede very stupid goals. So the chances are is that West Ham will get some form of goal, whether it be right at the beginning that we come back with, whether it be to equalise that we go on and win with, whether it be to get back to 2-1 that we eventually go 3-1 with, or to get a late consolation goal at the end. I don't know. But either way, I'm still expecting West Ham to score because it's Liverpool's defence. But I'm hoping for a professional and somewhat comfortable at most parts, as best that we can to the best of our ability game for the Reds. We get the win and we take a big step closer towards Premier League glory. Hopefully Salah gets back on the score sheet after what has been a bit of a sticky patch for him. Connor Bradley will be back in the team. I'm hoping for a little bit more rotation from Arnie Slot in this one. Maybe we get to see more of Harvey Elliott. Maybe we get to see Federico Chiesa finally start a Premier League game as well. I'm hoping for all of that stuff. Do I think it will necessarily happen? Not necessarily all of it, but maybe one or two of those things that I've mentioned. Either way, as long as we win the game, I'm not necessarily bothered. 3-1 Liverpool is what I'm going with. But yes, we need to take that game with the professionalism that it deserves. And there you have it as far as what this Premier League predictions video has in store for you. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, but most of all predictions of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of the Premier League games that we talked about? What do you make of my predictions? And what are your own predictions going into this weekend's round of Premier League action? Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading down below in the comment section. So please do use and abuse that section, people. Get involved. Would love to hear from you all on what you have to say. Sure, it'll make for great and interesting reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video / Premier League predictions video. And I will see you and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers guys, thanks everyone for watching. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you again very, very soon.